in your own mind, you passed that test, but you ain't seen nothing yet because that was the mock exam and the real exam is right now. Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever area of your chart you are wanting to look at. And if you don't know the different areas of your chart, there's a link down below to get yourself a free birth chart. Time, date and place of birth needed, obviously. Now, as a general reading rules apply. Roles can be reversed. I can be talking about somebody else and I'm actually talking about you and vice versa. Gender more often than not refers to energies rather than people. So I can talk about feminine energies but be meaning a male person. Now where timing's hardly absolute with readings at all. I've done readings in the past where I've told somebody something and then it didn't kick in till about 3 years later. So, if it doesn't mean anything to you now, file it away. Maybe, just file it away. However, having said that, this reading either is for you or it isn't because there is a past and a present. Now, if the past and the present don't fit, it is not for you, or at least it is not for you right now. If the past and the present do fit, then take the whole lot on board and think about it. Don't let me make decisions for you, but think about it. That's what tarot guidance is there for. It's not the sort of spread that allows the whole take what resonates, leave the rest. It is quite a defined spread. So, the other thing I'd like you to do is take a moment, pause the video if you have to, think of a question. Now think of all of the questions that are around you at the moment. Choose one of them and focus upon it because energy in, energy out. So pause now. And now that you've paused, the other reason is so that you can be aware of all of the questions that are floating around you at the moment, because be advised the cards will answer whatever they please and not what you or I think is the most important question. So on that note, let me bring up the cards. I'll do this on the big screen if it'll let me. There we go. So it's crunch time, Virgo, and that's what I'm going to call the reading, I think, because you're coming into your power, or you've already come into your power, but it's how you are going to use that power, exhibit that power that is coming into question at the moment. Because I think you were progressing forwards on something that you weren't entirely sure about. You were a little bit nervous about and a little bit anxious about. Do I want to go this way? But you felt impelled, you felt pressed to go this way. It had been something that you were planning for, or you started to plan for anyway. But what I want to point out are the oracle cards. Have faith in your dreams. The egg moon with trust. We have the angel of power. So this is why I'm talking about coming into your power, as well as the magician being here. And this is a process that is still going on. There's a present line just here. So this is recent past touching the present. So it hasn't necessarily finished right now. But the angel of power says, the power of divine love protects and enfolds me. That indicates that you are learning how to use your power, and that indicates to me that you are protected in that. But stand back, grab the popcorn, because your power is going to do some amazing things. Now, Malthus here is, let me grab the book. So I want to draw to you Malthus and Lehaya with obedience, and Furfa with war and strife. Let me make sure I've picked the correct book up before I read from it, because what I really want to read for is this Matariel, Angel of Rain. And this is the one that I can't say it better myself. I might as well read from the book. But with Malthus, where was it that I saw? Malthus' specialty is that of architecture and engineering. Not only can he assist those who summon him with building towers and walls that cannot be climbed over or broken down, but also he can point out the structural weaknesses in other structures so that they may be broken down. And that's what I think is the really important point with this, that you're looking at the structures that you are building around you. And you may be wanting to try and destroy some other structure, or you are wanting to build a morally impregnable structure, or financially impregnable structure, because, hey, that's going to be on everybody's mind soon enough once the virus goes into remission, sometime in 3 years' time. But with Lahaya, what it says here for Lahaya is obedience. That's her astrological, from the degree of her astrology. That's her astrological signification. But Lahaya can be called upon to fight against anger. Rules over leaders and crowned heads. Astrologically, this spirit signifies obedience, like I just said. So, rules over leaders and crowned heads and can be used to fight against anger. So you are fighting against anger while either building or demolishing some form of structure here. Now, this is the headliner, Material. And once I read it out, you'll see why I'm not even going to bother trying to put my own spin on it. Material's touch is felt, seen and heard. Its presence is heavy, filling the air, saturating the ground. Material is heralded by thunder clapping through the sky, signifying change and shift. There is a great migration coming, and it arcs like lightning. The potentiality from one body is moving to another, a precarious transference, a swift communion like the arrow taking its target. Awareness is paramount for the journey. Don't try to create an outcome for your future. Be in the moment. Let the rain fall where it may. Now, the reason that I wanted to highlight all of the oracle cards before I dive into the tarot right now, the cards signifying the moment that you are in: judgment, transformation, judgment inside of some form of mental conflict, but while you have got a stable home base and resources that you need to work on, and I feel some allies, as much as either you're in mental conflict or somebody is arguing against you. But if you are sticking to the most spiritual aspects, highest aspects, most moral aspects, if you are trying to link with your higher self and trying to be the best you that you can be, and that means that you are allowed to make mistakes, but you just have to be your best at making those mistakes, if that makes sense, because that will open up a wonderful clarity for you, but there is a lot of work ahead for you, but work that you are able to give to others and pass on to others. So one thing that I noticed with April's readings, I think I noticed the same with, was it the full moon readings or the recent, all the signs are being given their own missions. All the signs are being told, right, here's something that you want to move forward with. And on the bottoms of the deck, we have you moving forward with Six of Swords, so you're taking this to new shores, whatever it is. But we also have the Wheel, not the Wheel of Fortune. At least it is the Wheel of Fortune. Of course it's the Wheel of Fortune. But I just want to say it's not the Wheel of Fortune. It's more like with the Judgment card right underneath it. Okay. Outside circumstances coming in and calling you to duty, whatever that means. But this is more a Wheel of Destiny. I really feel like it's half the Wheel of Fortune, half the world, this card. Sorry, certainly influenced by this fertility goddess, that seems to be, whether it's Demeter or Ceres or whoever it is, quite possibly Demeter, considering the cycle of the seasons. There is that sense of you are being called into your own destiny at the moment, because this is something that you are aware. You've had a dream that you've become more comfortable with. Like I said, you were feeling anxious about it, but you started exhibiting your own power with it. You was aware that you were losing something by doing what you was doing, but what you were left with was oh so precious. This particular Five of Cups, let me hold it to the camera. You can see that he's holding 2 of the cups and 3 are left on the ground. But I almost feel that those 2 cups that he's left holding, he's there going, I've got it. I've sorted it. I've distilled it. I've created it. That's the feeling that I've got, that he's mixed all these 5 cups together to get these 2 cups of something. And he now he's changed lead into gold. And that really emphasized with the magician card that is clarifying, and then the high priestess straight after. So in effect, there's a divine coupling there. Cards 1 and 2 of the major arcana, masculine and feminine power both at their height. The high priestess indicating the balancing of those 2 priorities, but also intuition coming in, and that moon feels really, really quite strong for me. Let me just pick up my crystal wand that I sent flying a minute ago. So what led you on to it? Right, so there was news that brought you... Okay, deciding on this path, you thought your emotions were balanced, and then you set off to create this new harvest, and you was like, whew, and some news came in that shook you a little bit, and hence gave you that anxiety here with this 8 of Swords. But I almost feel that anxiety, that 8 of Swords here, this guy isn't trapped by his own anxiety. He's going through an initiation. He's almost like the hanged man hanging on the world tree to gain his wisdom. I mean, he's not losing an eye, but I feel like he's deliberately put himself there. Look at the ravens that are around him, bringing him wisdom. And look, the fact that he's a big buff guy. No one ain't going to tie him up unless he actually accepts it. He's put himself there. And that is a point with the 8 of Swords. You put yourself there. But it's almost like, I'm putting myself there. Can I take it? Can I endure this? He's testing himself. So you have been testing yourself. And I think in your own mind, you passed that test, but you ain't seen nothing yet, because that was the mock exam, and the real exam is right now. Because there are influences that you are not seeing, but you are feeling victorious, but yet more news will be coming to you that will cause more transformation in you. And I feel like you have news to give to people as well. But with this 2 of Swords, this is another card. All of these April readings, the most prevalent cards have been 2 of Swords and 8 of Cups. No, 2 of Swords and 7 of Cups, sorry. Options and all the various many meanings of the 2 of Swords. Because, yeah, there's something that you're blind to, but it doesn't matter, because you are aware to so much else. As I just said on my last reading, which would have been Leo, her visor reminds me of the visor of Geordi off of Star Trek Next Gen. What he can't see visually, he can see ocularly on all different other wavelengths, so he's more aware than somebody who has normal sight. But whereas the 2 of Swords in the Leo reading was preventing other people from seeing something, here it's almost like I feel that they are 2 swords that you are ready to grasp. I'm going to leave Star Trek now and go into He-Man, because it feels like the two halves of the sword of power. That they're still two individual swords, but used in harmony, used in concert together, will create a great effect. And you can be blind to whatever does not matter. And that's something that I feel is strong there, especially since other people are an influence. Okay, so there may well be a love connection here because other people influencing you. 2 of Cups, the soulmate card, and 10 of Cups, happiness. And interestingly, 10 of Swords, an end to torment. So a completion of something with these 2 tens. Happiness is on offer to you from somebody else. There is that support. There is that balancing coming in. So it's quite possible that this judgment may well be somebody else arriving in your life, and all of a sudden you have got to be your best because you've got to be your best for them, when really you are being your best for you. You might not look at it that way, but that's part of either that or they are heralding this transformation, whatever it is. So let's start. Well, even before I go further, let's look at the relevant past. So there was so the Lovers, clarified by 6 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Wands. So there was some form of choice that you made, or some form of relationship that you were in that was reasonably content, reasonably okay, but it was almost like you, or the result of this choice brought a certain amount of contentedness, but you wanted more, you set out for more, you were guided to reach for more, and that led you to that led you to reaching out to a group of your peers, whatever that means. Only I don't think you thought they were your peers at the time, because 7 of Wands being a bit defensive, but this is clarified by 2 9 of Cups. You achieved what you wanted in the past. Remember that. Even if it really wasn't worth it at the end, it's like, oh, great, I've got everything that I ever wanted. I'm bored now, or, oh, now I realise that I didn't quite want it like this. But you've had that accomplishment in the past. Remember that, stick with it, hold the faith, because progress is going to be slow, but you are being smiled upon, and you are going to be able to manifest whatever it is that you are trying to manifest here in this transformation. And I don't think, even if you know precisely what I'm talking about in the present, I don't think you quite know what it is that you're going to try, what it is that you will be manifesting, but you are certainly coming into your own and declaring your own. I won't say kingdom, because we have King of Wands, King of Cups, King of Pentacles, 3 of the 4 elements. What's missing? King of Swords. Let's see what's under here. We've got the Ace of Cups, the dream, coming into more detail now. There's love there, obviously. There's also a great passion, and there's an exploration of whatever your new direction is. It may mean that you have to give up a previous dream, but it's almost a sacrifice that you're more than willing to make, because you know that this will grow into something so much bigger and better, in the so much more nurturing, and it's a dream that will actually take flight and take off. Whereas before, you had everything that you wanted, and you soon got bored and you wanted more or different. Either way, it's like, I've got where I wanted to go. I'm bored now. Where next? And that's, I want you to remember that you accomplished before, but the where next is always the most important. Always. You are 2 of Cups again with the Ace of Wands. So as you are declaring your expertise, your kinship, there was no King of Swords there. So 3 of the 4 elements working towards you. Your emotions, your practical life, your dreams, and your skills at handling them all. But also here, the Three of Swords. So there is some pain that you will be going through that will actually cause a great blossoming. But it's like initiation always hurts. You know, that's the best way to put it. Speak to any ritual magicians. Initiation hurts. One way or another, it will hurt. Physically, emotionally, financially, whatever, somewhere it will hurt. Because pain is the great teacher. Because we've got, you have the option of taking. Oh, right. So these two cards are a potential future or possibly two potential futures. Let's see what the other one says before I start. Okay, when that pain comes, embrace it, work with it, react to it. If you decide to cut it all off and go, right, no, I am not having anything to do with that, then you may be operating under a certain amount of illusion where you may see plenty of options, but they are all options that are above a steaming bog that you can fall into and drown. You know, as I'm seeing the Seven Cups here, even though they're representing the 7 planets, pretty much like a will-o'-the-wisp to draw you out into the ocean. Now, let me just see if I can turn that camera back on. Bear with me. Yeah, hopefully that should turn back on in a second. So, in the meantime, we have your hopes and fears. So there's a fear of being left alone. I won't worry about that. Not with all that Two of Cups stuff that we had going on. And knowing the right time to act and knowing whether you will weather the storm. We have the Hermit, Temperance, and the Tower in your hopes and fears section. The camera's obviously not going to work, so let me just change cameras here. This is why I want to stress that have faith in your dreams. Keep your eyes on that as your dreams develop and as your dreams are maturing and changing by external circumstance. Keep faith in that core essence of them, because you will be protected, you will be guided, you will have victory. Just be careful about being too defensive when basically behind you, you can leave all but flames behind you as you burn away that is no longer necessary. However, this is going to be a period of anxiety for you. So have faith in your dreams and trust. This is what this card is saying. Trust. Make sure you trust. Make sure you have faith. You are on the right path here. You know, it's not going to feel like it, but there looks like so many big transformations coming up here for you. But let me just recap by awareness is paramount for the journey. Don't try to create an outcome for your future. Be in the moment. Let the rain fall where it may. So, if this means anything to you, Virgo, and I imagine that if this means something to you already, then you're way too busy to be watching this video. But if it means anything to you, comment down below. Please press subscribe while you're there, because it really helps the channel. Or the like button. It helps the video get boosted up on the YouTube or the Google Politics, as Soul Garden TV calls it. There's a link down there for a Facebook group as well, so if you want to message me for a personal reading, feel free. There's an inbox on the Facebook group, and you can see, obviously I post these videos there, but I also post the astrology videos that I watch, and sometimes other readers as well, when they do a really interesting reading. So, yeah, it's crunch time, Virgo. Have faith. Cheers.